Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to my YouTube channel. After the studying of the photosynthesis mechanism and the dark reaction and the light reaction and the mechanism of photosynthesis, and after the studying of the limiting factor of the photosynthesis, we have study about the respiration that occurs into the plant and the other living things. As when we burn a fuel, it utilizes the oxygen and yield the energy in the form of the light heat. In this burning process, the oxygen is used to break the CH bonds, CH1 carbon and hydrogen bond present in the fuel of the molecule. In the same way, the organisms utilize the oxygen for the breakdown the carbon and hydrogen bond present in the food in their cell. It means that the living thing or animal and other living things use the food and break down the energy in the form of the carbon and hydrogen. This breakdown yield the energy which is transferred into the form of ATP. During this process, the carbon and hydrogen bond are also broken down in oxidation and the reduction process. These reaction and so carbon dioxide and the water are also produce in the cellular energy. Yielding process is called the cellular respiration. In the topic of the respiration, we have studies about the two phases of the respiration, two kinds of respiration like the aerobic and the anaerobic respiration. The most common fuels used by the cell to get energy and the cellular respiration is the glucose. The way of glucose is oxidized depend on the availability of the oxygen. The cellular respirations occurring into the presence of the oxygen is called the aerobic respiration, while the other one of that the occur in the absence of the oxygen is called the anaerobic respiration. It is very simple and clear way to discuss that the presence of oxygen process is the aerobic respiration, and the process that occurs without the oxygen is called the anaerobic respiration. So the aerobic respiration we discussed first of all. In this presence of the oxygen, complete oxidation of the glucose occurs with the maximum release of the energy. In the first phase of the aerobic respiration, a molecules of the glucose of the 6 carbon is broken down into the molecule of the pyruvic acid. So 3 carbon and 3 carbon is the two compounds are produced in this process. In the second phase of the molecule of the pyruvic acids the pyruvic acids are completely oxidized. All the carbon and the hydrogens are broken down into the carbon dioxide and the water, and all the energy is released. The overall reaction is as follows. In this equation we discuss the carbon 6 and the hydrogen 12 atoms and the oxygen have the sixth atom. Now this is the formula of the glucose. Glucose plus oxygen. In this process, we see that the six carbon atoms combine to each other and form the carbon dioxide and the water and the energy. In this process, the balanced equation is six carbon dioxide and the six water molecule and the energy is produced here. And the other process is the anaerobic respiration. It is also called the fermentation. In this absence of the oxygen, glucose is completely oxidized with the less amount of the energy is released. In anaerobic respiration, the first phase is exactly similar to the aerobic respiration. A molecule of glucose is broken down into the two molecules of the pyruvic acid, but in the second phase, the pyruvic acid is not completely oxidized. So, due to the absence of the oxygen, it is transferred into the ethyl alcohol or the lactic acid. In this way, many of the carbon and the hydrogen bonds are left unbroken in the products of the anaerobic respiration is further classified as the alcohol and alcoholic fermentation and the lactic acid fermentation. Now, our topic of the respiration and aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration is complete here.